Okay, hey guys, today should be an interesting video. We're going to go over how to manage allergies in your cafe or kitchen, on your menu, for catering events. We're going to go over the whole remit. So, my disclaimer is always be sure your staff has gone through food safety and hygiene courses and really knows what each thing is. This means ensuring that there's a document somewhere that lists what allergens mean what. Because common sense isn't always common. Some people might not realize what gluten actually is, what it is and what it isn't, and all those fun things. So be sure your staff know. So let's start with your menu, right? Your menu. Labels. Disclaimers. All ingredients. This is what you need to be sure is there. It's, again, labels. If you can get little symbols of a little fish, a little mollusk, a little carton of milk, a little grain, a little something that can go next to a menu item that makes it much easier for people to see what's in it, it'll save you a lot of time and effort. That's a really common thing to do within the industry is, even if it's a grilled cheese sandwich, in its name, it would be pretty common knowledge that it's going to have gluten in the bread, dairy in the cheese, but you want it to be shown. It really does help with your liability. At the end of the day, this is what it's covering, is ensuring that you informed your customers, your staff, anyone that interacts with you, so no accidental hospitalizations happen. It needs to be clear. Disclaimers. I'm sure if you've gone to many restaurants, if you go to the very bottom of a menu, there's a little star, a little asterisk. Things like our deep fat fryer is a shared environment. So if you have severe celiacs, you likely aren't going to want to get something that's deep fat fried because it could be contaminated from things that are breaded. Again, another thing staff should know is the deep fat frying oil peanut based? Is it safflower? Is it just vegetable oil? What is it? You need to have that ready to provide because, again, one slip up in not realizing the kitchen uses peanut oil and someone with a peanut allergy asked and they order it, they're going into anaphylactic shock. That's going to happen. So you need to be informed. And then all ingredients. We all like to have our secret ingredients and have our trade secrets. You don't have to give exact measurements, but when you're making a menu description, you really should be listing out all items in the menu. No, again, let's go back to peanuts. If you have a canapé that's a Thai-inspired spring roll, and it has crushed peanuts in it, like mixed in but not visible, you need to list out in the description contains crushed peanuts. It's not about disclosing your secret recipes, it's about keeping people safe. So again, your menu, make it clear, make it easy to read, easy to find, and be sure your staff know. So then let's move on to the next bit, which is catering. This is, again, your menu. What can be changed? How to inform. And we'll leave it with those three. So again, your catering menu is going to follow all the same rules as the above. Now, usually if you go to a catering company, you can get this, we'll call it a micro menu. Just kind of list stuff out. Do not be the person that just has names of things. List what's in it. I know the just the names looks nice and clean and good, but it's about safety. List your ingredients. Catering is often a bit more bespoke as well. So I would definitely take the time to build a document, even if it's a little 2-paragraph something, with some disclaimers saying, please discuss with us ahead of time. We might be able to substitute some ingredients if you have an allergy. Meaning, if we can get our hands on gluten-free bread, maybe we can substitute that. Maybe you have a shellfish allergy, but not a regular fish allergy, so can we sub the shrimp or the oysters for just a fish? It doesn't always work, but it's a good thing to offer, especially again, I keep going back to peanut allergies. Peanut butter, see if you can get sunflower butter. I go with sunflower because soy is also a common allergen. So if you get someone that's nut and soy, now you can't use the soy nut butter. And again, it comes down to also how to properly inform people. Have it clear on your website, have it clear on the menu. Be sure to verbally walk people through it. And ask them. That should always be an onboarding question. Are there any allergens we need to be made aware of? Again, it's for liability. If they say no, there's not, they pick peanut dishes, they pick shellfish dishes, they pick dairy dishes that have stuff that has gluten, and all of a sudden one of their guests has a massive reaction to something, you are now covered in it not being disclosed to you. But you should have labels if you're at an event, little table tags with the food item, and then on the flip side, allergens include. It can be as simple as that. Again, make the event enjoyable for anybody, and that means ensuring they are safe and can enjoy the meal. Now let's move on to a cafe and restaurant, really. Again, same menu rules, but greater separation. Individual knowledge checks. Menu follows the same rules as before, but in a cafe or restaurant setting, you're going to separate things a bit better. Again, aside from my example at shared fat fryers, deep fat fryers, you can keep most stuff separate. When you set up your line for the day for prep, everything's usually in its own separate containers, unless something's pre-mixed and comes that way. You can customize things pretty easily, but that also means everything needs to be labeled. If you are going to say you are a celiac-friendly kitchen, this means you have a dedicated fryer, dedicated knives, dedicated pans, cutting boards, dishwashing area, everything for celiac labeled things. Otherwise, you are gluten-free friendly kitchen. And that's something your servers need to know and to disclose. If someone has severe celiacs, but there's potential crumb contamination or shared surface, but it's not in it, they need to know these things. Different people react different ways to their allergens. Some people break out in hives. Some people are going into anaphylactic shock and going to the hospital. So label it all. If you're in a cafe, I recommend having a couple of steaming pictures for milk, like your regular dairy milk. One that's labeled coconut only. One soy only. One almond only. One coconut only. And then let your staff know this is what it's for. It might feel excessive to have that many, but guess what? Now you can say, no, you ordered coconut, it went in the coconut pitcher, got steamed in this, the wand got washed between, it wasn't in there. Your allergen wasn't present. Again, it's about liability. And, some catering companies, they do have a lot of staff. But cafes and restaurants tend to have a bit more people. There's more shifts. The bigger you are, the more staff. It's great to have everybody go through trainings, but you want to routinely check in with people to be sure they know. And it goes in with all the above. Check with servers like, hey, can we substitute the dairy out of this dish or no? If it's lasagna, probably not, because often during prep, they're going to make a giant hotel pan. And what they're going to do is they're going to cut it into chunks as people order, and then they put it in the salamander to reheat. Unless it specifically says made to order, that is a dish that takes a while to cook. Now, if it's more of a spaghetti with bolognese and shows dairy, you might be able to sub it out because potentially it's just topped with cheese, but not in the sauce and not in the noodle. Or there's things like knowing, can I ensure this is cooked on oil, not butter, for a dairy allergy? And just making sure the kitchen knows. And when you ring in the order, whether you're typing it on a machine, walking it to the back, write allergy, write severe allergy. There are always going to be people that take advantage of it and they just don't like it. They don't want to pick it off, so they say it's an allergy, but treat it all the same. It's always a bummer when people do that, but treat it the same. So again, as a recap, for managing allergies, it comes down to information and labels and really ensuring that not every dish, but a key chunk of your menu, people can customize as needed. You want to be that place, that restaurant, the catering company, wherever to go to hire, that is willing to work with you. The more allergies you have, often the harder it is to go out and eat. So knowing that you're going somewhere that can be flexible, has things clearly labeled, has knowledgeable staff, it's going to make it a better experience. And to have a reputation for that community that makes people feel safe and want to come visit is a great thing. So that's all for today. If you have any questions or concerns or need some help in figuring out how to manage a small space with allergens in your cafe, please just drop a comment below. We'd be more than happy to help.